Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're remembering the beautiful life and really the enduring legacy of actress Kelly Lee Curtis. Sadly, Kelly passed away on May 30th, 2026. She was 69 years old at her home in Bellevue, Idaho. And we're going to explore her fascinating journey today, celebrating a woman who navigated the intense, crazy spotlight of a legendary Hollywood family, but ultimately carved out this incredibly rich, multifaceted life, both on the screen and, as you'll see, far beyond.
Jamie Lee Curtis actually broke the news to the world with just a deeply personal, emotional farewell. When you hear those words, in her home, in nature, at peace, you immediately get a sense of who Kelly really was at her core, right? Jamie Lee didn't just lose a sibling, she lost her very first friend, her lifelong confidant. It's such a beautiful tribute, and I think it really anchors our understanding of Kelly the person way before we even start looking at Kelly the actress.
Section 1 of Famous Family Tree. Because to truly understand Kelly's roots and the world she had to navigate, we've got to look back to the legendary Hollywood dynasty she was born into in Santa Monica back in 1956.
Talk about undeniable Hollywood royalty, right? Her father was the iconic actor Tony Curtis, and her mother the legendary Janet Leigh. And of course, her younger sister is the award-winning Jamie Lee Curtis. Growing up in one of cinema's absolute most famous families, well, that casts a pretty long shadow. But here's the crucial takeaway. Kelly didn't just rest on her family's laurels. No way! She worked incredibly hard to forge her own unique identity, totally separate from her famous parents and sister.
In fact, instead of just relying on that famous last name to, walk onto a movie set and demand a part, Kelly actively pursued her own education first. She actually went to Skidmore College, graduating in 1978 with a business degree. She even spent some time working as a stockbroker, literally experiencing the corporate world before she decided to formally study her craft at the highly esteemed Lee Strasberg Theater Institute. It just shows this level of dedication and honestly groundedness that completely defined her entire approach to her career.
Moving on to Section 2, on screen and stage. Let's take a look at her acting career, where she steadily built up a resume that really showcased a wide range of talent.
So her very first time on film was actually an uncredited debut as a young girl in the 1958 action-adventure The Vikings, which happened to star both of her parents. But her adult career really hit its stride in the 80s. In 1983, she appeared alongside her sister in the massive comedy hit Trading Places, playing the character Muffy. Then, jump to 1991, she steps right into the heavy lifting as the leading star playing Miriam Kretzel in the horror film The Devil's Daughter. And by 1996, she'd secured a regular cast role as Lieutenant Carolyn Plummer in the first season of UPN's action series, The Sentinel.
And beyond those major film and regular TV roles, Kelly was just a prolific, highly adaptable guest star on television. She brought her talent to everything from gritty crime dramas like The Equalizer and Silk Stockings, to the massive sci-fi universe of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and even family legal dramas like Judging Amy. She really just showed up, did the work, and proved her versatility across so many different genres.
Section 3. Sisterly Collaborations. Because her work in the entertainment industry wasn't just limited to acting, let's look at what happened when she teamed up with her family later on.
As time went on, Kelly made this totally fascinating career shift behind the camera. She served as an invaluable assistant, a really trusted confidant, and a production assistant on some of her sister Jamie Lee's biggest hit comedies. We're talking Freaky Friday, Christmas with the Cranks, and You Again. It takes a really special, secure kind of bond to shift from acting alongside your sister to running the behind-the-scenes support that helps her shine.
But what did Kelly do away from the Hollywood sets? It's so easy for us to focus solely on the Hollywood glitz, right? The red carpets, the famous parents, the studio lots. But what did she do away from all of that? Because as her sister noted, Kelly's true heart resided far away from the flashing cameras.
There's this fascinating contrast in her life's work. On one side, you've got the massive, high-pressure Hollywood studio comedies and network dramas in LA, but on the other side, her later passion, intimate, local documentaries. Working with her husband, the filmmaker John Marsh, she directed documentaries right from her beloved state of Idaho. She captured the ups and downs of an Australian high school track team in 2018's Marby Jetser Go, and the quirky first-ever outdoor curling tournament in Idaho in 2019's Curling in Stanley. She actively chose authenticity over fame, shifting from telling Hollywood stories to telling real, grounded community stories. And that grounded nature totally extended to her rich personal life, too. Jamie Lee's tribute painted this vibrant, joyous picture of Kelly's eclectic personality. She was deeply proud of her Danish and Hungarian Jewish roots, and she lived a life full of fierce opinions and endless curiosity. She collected turtles, She loved thrifting, travel, spending time in nature. She was just as happy playing a cutthroat round of the card game Hearts or walking around playing Pokémon Go as she was on a movie set. She really appreciated the simple, beautiful pleasures of life.
And perhaps one of the absolute most touching takeaways from our explainer today is this. To the public, sure, she was an actress from a legendary family, but to her family, she was simply Auntie Cookie. She actually earned this beloved nickname because of her loving generosity and the legendary powdered almond crescent cookies she baked every single Christmas. It is just incredibly touching to learn that she was the cornerstone of their holiday traditions, a warm, constant presence in their lives.
We're going to close our explainer today with Kelly's own traditional sign-off, as shared by her sister. It's a sweet nod to her Hungarian heritage, and I think it leaves us to reflect on the beautiful legacy of a talented artist, a grounded documentary filmmaker, and a fiercely devoted sister. So I'll leave you with this thought. How often do we measure a person's legacy by their public fame, when their true masterpiece might just be the quiet, beautiful reality of the love they shared and the peace they found in nature? Thank you so much for exploring her life with me. Isten Veled.